Time to give this some tender loving care. Let's go. So yeah, I've been given this by a guy at the local Leicester club. It needs a little bit of TLC, as you might have seen on a previous video. Cab latch is missing a screw and a spring. I've got plenty of those. The wiring is the main issue, so 90% of this work is going to be the wiring, which the MFC I believe is stuck to the back of the cab. Not stuck to the back of the cab. I can feel the double-sided pad just behind this bit, and then MFC is right up. So yeah, few bits of bashing around. The aerial on the side, there's what looks like to be a couple of drilled out screws in that back wheel. I'm going to try and tidy up this checker plate where the trailer light socket is, because that's just in with countersunk screws. So yeah, it's not poorly screwed together, but it just needs a little bit of TLC. The steps broke off just here. I think the guys had it, got it, and the wiring needs a bit of a tidy up. Front bar needs addressing. Yeah, I tell you, it has got a few battle scars, but it has been run. Missing screw. I do have some spare, so not a big deal really, not a big deal. It has got the perimeter light kit, which does work, and yeah, it's got a couple of 13 amp connectors. I would assume that's running the bars and the beacon. So let's get it apart and let's have a look. I do like the colour, it's very nice indeed. A little bit of a rat's nest. So I will do my thing. Cable ties are okay for keeping everything in. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I like to keep the front and rear wiring loom separate. So I know where each one goes. So all of that. Why is that? Oh, I know. A little bit of a butchery job, but nothing that can't be sorted, like this one here. That should be J12, the black and green, and it is spliced into that one, which is a 5mm white. So I'm going to have to see what's been done and go through it and then try and tidy it up a little bit. Not going to go mad with it. Not going to go mad. So indicator lights on a Y lead, that's not a problem. That's the rear. That's the trailer. That's the motor. That's the battery lead. And see what's inside there. What I am going to try and do is fit a false wall so I can still have the cab tilting, and then mount this to the back of the false wall rather than the back of the cab. And then just get rid of all of this and tidy it up. So let me have a stab at that, and we'll see where we go. And a little jump ahead here. Got carried away and just doing little bits and bobs. So as you can see, it is very much stripped down because the gearbox didn't sound too healthy, and it was starting to wear away quite quickly, as you can see by the blackened gears where the alloy is wearing away. And yeah, somebody didn't put grease in it, and I've actually heard people say don't like putting grease in it because it makes things messy. Well, I'm afraid, messy or not, you need grease in your gearbox. I thought I might be right in assuming that there's going to be no grease in the diffs, and might be a little bit, but not much. It's ball raised. I think that's oil actually, because it's very shiny. I think that's oil, and that's not a good thing. That is not good. That is not good at all. That is, it should be grease. Now where's my, no, it's stupid 1.5, so I might have to clean these out and put some grease in them. Just wipe them. I'm not going to degrease them. I have got some brake clean. Oh Christ, nothing. That's not got any grease, that's just oil, and oil is no good. Don't put oil in them, folks. It does look like it's had some grease in it, but the oil has thinned it out a little bit. I'm just going to fill that up like so, and then just refit that cap. Right then, that's back together. Quick write down. This one doesn't sound too bad, but there's no diff, so we might have moved one of the little wheels, put one of the little gears around. So let me take this off and we shall see. So yeah, not too much in the way of grease in that. So I'm just going to have it looks more oil than grease. Why am I using that one? Because it's 1.5. There has been thread lock used, which is good. So let's see if this crown, not crown wheel, whatever it's called, yes, they've moved it around, look. they've taken that gear off there and moved it to there. Now some people say you drop it between the other gears there, but it doesn't fit that well, so you just take and put it between there and that locks the diff. I'm going to leave it locked, but I'm going to put some grease in there, not that it actually needs it, but you know, if you want it open, then I'll whip it off and open the diff for him. So let's put this back together, put a bit of grease around the main one and stick it back in. That sounds much better. We have an open diff and a locked diff. That is a good one. Right. And a big jump forward. Very little time, so I had to crack on with the refresh of this. A lot of it was just boring, tidying up of the wires, and yeah, it's turned out to be okay. I haven't reconfigured the lights, I've just left them as they were. I've removed about 3 feet of wiring and it still works okay. He had these as side markers, not side repeaters. They are very, very well glued in, so I couldn't do anything about that because they've got built-in resistors, and that would have been a whole lot more work to get them to work as side repeaters. It's got the MFC 03 fitted to it, and yeah, the radio set up with dual rate as usual. A lot of the work has gone into resetting things on the back because they were glued down, held in with wood screws. So yeah, gearbox been taken apart, that's been greased up, the pinion has been reset onto the primary spur. Centre diff had oil in it, which obviously runs out, so had very little protection, so that's apart and greased. The final drive axle has one of the gears offset slightly, so this is a locked axle. Rewired the side markers, repaired the cab latch. The cab does tilt, but although you have to be really careful with it because there's not much room between the back wall and the false wall. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Little bit confused as to why the roof beacon, it does work on one of the channels. I'll show you, I'll go through everything, but it cycles through its sequences of patterns which I've never seen before, so that's probably a software thing. I don't know. So let's get this switched on, and I'll just show you where it is. What I'll do is I'll switch off the main working lights. So you get a better effect of the thing. So, radio on. The radio has been set for dual rates, 75 and 100 on this left stick side to side and right stick up and down. That's what it's done. Reset the radio, and let's turn it on. Now you will see that the light automatically goes through its own sequence of patterns, if you can see that. Yeah, it's changing, but I can change that manually with this. But if I go to off, I think it's 5 seconds, it'll start up on its own. So I don't know what that's all about. So it'll do that pattern for 5 seconds, then another pattern for 5 seconds. So there's nothing I can really do about that. So let's start the engine. And we get the air horn. We can change that to a town urban horn. And let's bring you down a little bit. There we go. Do you like my new sign? My goddaughter bought me that for Christmas and I absolutely love it. Love that. Anyway, we digress. So indicators. We have left and right. Obviously when you let go of the steering, that automatically cancels, but you can have them latching like that, and then when you make the turn it cancels. And then you cancel it by tapping downwards. So now the hazard lights, we flick the dual rate switch down and tap up. That gives us the 4-way flashes. And lights, we go through the sequence of lights. That's the headlights and cab markers. We have the side markers, and we have the low bar, and we have the high bar on a switch. We have the high bar on a switch. Brilliant. So that's all well and good. And what else? Yeah, the side markers are also on here because these were very glued in. To get them out would have probably been quite destructive, so we're going to leave them as side markers. There is a built-in resistor, so I can't put them into the MFC because it needs a lot more voltage for that. So anyway, let's turn that off. Let's spin the truck around, and again we have hazard warning lights, we have brake lights, we have backup lights, and we have perimeter lights on as well. So that they come on with the high bar, and at the same time this also has an ambient light on the inside on that same switch, which was all wired in together. So yeah, quite a nice touch that. So it has had quite a lot of work done, because you know it just needed a bit of care. Centre diff had oil in rather than grease. It now has grease. The other one has oil in, now has grease, but is locked, so it's a fixed diff. Back wheels have been addressed to make them fit better. Front wheels, I can't really do much about them because I think rather than thread lock, I think there's been a lot of super glue used to hold the bolts in, so they get this wheel nut kind of look in it. And yeah, it's very rough to touch with the bolt heads, rather than use the thing. So all in all, that Mercedes that was given to me to sort out is now done, and I think the guy will be quite happy with that. Yeah, looks good. Looks okay now. Not looking like it was when I got it. So yeah, happy about that. Might not post this video because I haven't got permission from the guy that owns it. I will ask him before posting it, and if I get his okay, obviously it will be uploaded as it is now. So thanks for watching.